Welcome to The Dead Life. Here's world-renowned medium, Allison DuBois.
Welcome back to The Dead Life, where we're answering part 2 of last week's call-in episode. If you missed part 1, check it out at thedeadlifepodcast.com, YouTube, Apple, or Spotify. Joe's back to thrill us with his sounding board capabilities.
Oh boy.
To book a reading with me, email us at booking@allisondubois.com. If you want to watch past and present episodes of The Dead Life, follow me on YouTube. Please like and subscribe. Check me out on Instagram at Medium Allison. And if you are in Scottsdale around September 6th, come see me at my live show. Go to AllisonDuBois.com for ticket information. We've got some new tricks up our sleeve for this one and only event of 2025. Next year, I'm going on tour in Australia, so this is a very special event. Well, Joe, welcome back.
Thanks. How fun. It seems like you said last week, but it seems like it's been like...
Well, okay. So we recorded part 1, and as everyone knows, Ozzy Osbourne and Hulk Hogan, Malcolm Jamal Warner, and Chuck Mangione all died. And so I felt as though and Lonnie Anderson since the part 1, I felt like I really needed to address people dying in threes, why we're not seeing it be sets of threes as much this year. Because we're in a 9 year.
It's like in sets of 9s.
Yes. It's a 9 years, so it can be in a set of any numeration. And it's a year of endings. It is what it is. And like I said before, Lonnie Anderson had passed, I was worried about the ladies, the icons.
You did say that, yeah.
And then she passed, and I'm holding my breath on some of the other ones that I worry about. So we're not that far into the year. I know everybody's already dreaming of Christmas and buying Halloween decorations, but we got a lot of 2025 left to go. So we've got more call-ins.
Yes.
We've been getting a backup in call-ins because there's so many.
And actually, over the last 2 weeks, I didn't even mention this while we're getting ready for the show. There's another couple dozen that we haven't even looked at. So we have to get on this.
Well, I mean, we'll do.
Yeah.
There's a couple people that sometimes come in and leave. I've had to block them. They get a little weird.
Yeah. Sometimes these are all fresh new.
So it's funny. I could do a whole show just on some of these strange call-ins that I get. Most of them are just people with really interesting questions or a story they want to share. But there are some of those people out there, I don't know, smoking a little crack or doing something. I'm not sure.
Yeah, we've gotten some calls.
Little methy in nature of how the I actually can identify some of the drugs now by the tone of the weirdness of some of the messages that are left. That is not something to be proud of.
Yeah, no. There's one thing though that you didn't mention, and I think we need to draw attention behind you. What is that on the wall? Yeah.
Here's to 5 years. The Dead Life is 5 years old. Ooh. I started The Dead Life in COVID out of boredom, and it's turned into its own amazing podcast. And I love my followers, my listeners, all of you. Thank you so much for listening to us. I know a lot of you have been following us the whole time, but yes.
5 years. And we've had, it's been genuinely a good time, and we've learned a lot going through all this. Yeah.
It has been a good time. And I've had some really interesting guests.
Interesting guests.
Yeah. I feel really lucky. I had Ashley Flowers from Crime Junkie podcast on. She was cool. Even like Mickey Dolenz.
Yeah.
Stephen Simon, the director of Somewhere in Time, which is like favorite romantic movie. I know you know.
Actually, we haven't watched it lately. We'll have to watch that again.
And I do get we will. I do get a lot of emails from, publicists that want to have somebody that wrote a book on the show. But now, because people can self-publish, I have to really do like a deep dive to see if they're, what their quality is. And I'm trying to have people on like Margaret Jameson where we know what she's talking about. And, we can go down that lane and people can absorb the information. and you can apply it to your life. So a lot of the dead life for me is wanting to be able to give people the tools to manifest the life they want, but also to communicate with the dead and live their life knowing that the dead, that they're moving towards them, not leaving them behind. So there's a whole tone to the show. And then we have some of the fun ones, the more haunted things around Halloween.
Oh yeah. There's hauntings. And we'll have to share the haunting that we saw up in Drum. But, and I know we have to get to these colors, but to me, it was like the death doula. Like I didn't even know that was a thing. And then all of a sudden you have one on and it's like, wow, that is so.
I've had a couple death doulas on and then the more recent one, I've had her on a couple of times, really learn a lot from her, the hospice nurses.
Yeah.
So they're fascinating. Their stories and what they witness at the moment. The soul leaves the body. I mean, there's just so many different ways to look at death and dying and life after death. And then we've had near-death experiences on. I've tried to really give a little of everything under the umbrella of mediumship and spirituality without going off the rails.
Well, right. Without making it some dark, spooky thing, right?
Well, and without making it too airy-fairy or, like I want it to be relatable. That's so important to me.
Part of your real life.
Well, I think, people with abilities, we relate and vibe with energy that's like us. So I think people with abilities who are a little bit more direct, as I am, would gravitate to me. I know it's the same with spirits. I get people that come to me and come to their living loved one to kind of push them to get the reading until they book. And it's because the spirit was like a no nonsense kind of person that would have vibed with me. And I'm like, they do vibe with me. They picked me. They often do that. So it's interesting. And then there are the people that are a little bit more out there on the fringe or a softer ethereal nature. And that's not me. I work murders. I profile killers. Like I'm a little bit more medium with a gun. I'm a little bit more justice and trying to bring balance in the world and unafraid. I'm an unafraid medium.
Oh,
but there's some out there that just don't read as in depth on these issues or darker issues.
I think they get intimidated by it.
Well, I think a lot of them are still working on their borders and boundaries. And you have to have really strong borders and boundaries to deal with not just the grandmas that die, that are light and sweet and wonderful, but to deal with suicides and to deal with lower frequency issues. So, all right.
Well, good job.
Thanks. Well, happy 5th birthday to me and the dead life. And thank you for being here as my skating partner this whole time and sharing the journey with me.
Oh, my pleasure. It really has been fun.
Yeah, it has. Oh, well, thank you anyways. I appreciate that. And Sophia, shout out to our daughter, Sophia, because I pull her in here to get the Gen Z perspective as well. So she's been really helpful in showing a younger generation's perspective on spirituality versus Gen X, which is not quite as young.
And that's funny because the show's been around her whole young 20hood. And she saw the sign up on the wall and she's like, has it been 5 years? And it's like, yeah, that's yes.
In fact, it has.
In fact, it has.
Well, so who's our first call-in?
Okay, we're going to hear from, well, it says Tammy, Montana, but I don't think she's related to Hannah.
Okay, Joe.
Hello, Allison. This is Tammy. I'm calling from Montana, and I'm a Pisces, in case that's important in my answer. And I lost my husband very unexpectedly in 2019. And through that process, initially I had a lot of visitation dreams, felt him very close. At that time, I also had visits in my dreams from both of my parents who've passed. And I felt very connected spiritually to them. And I also felt really good about, I was giving back to my community through starting a grief support group because I live in a really isolated area. So I was just feeling like my healing was going really well. And then COVID happened, and I work in healthcare. And through that process, I just became really, I guess, angry at humanity. That was the best way to describe that, just because of how I and my coworkers were being treated by the general public, and just there was just a real nastiness that was just so hurtful. And it has taken me several years to really to get over that hurt, but I still feel that it has tainted me, or I've become a little, I don't know what the word would be. I'm not the same person. I'm not as kind. I'm not as compassionate as I once was. I really put a wall up in my interactions with the general public, with patients. I'm still professional, but not to the point that I was previously. Not as, I guess, engaged as I was previously. So with that said, since COVID happened, I have not been able to really feel my deceased loved ones present. I haven't had any visitation dreams. And I'm wondering, is that connected with my overall, I guess, anger? I don't know if I've just changed myself energetically. And what would be your, I guess, advice on how to get back to my normal, empathetic, compassionate?
And now we're going to do a little business with you. I love summer. We all take it a little bit easier and wear shorts to stay cool and comfortable. I don't know about you, but putting on shorts reminds many of us that we need to eat better. We all need healthy eating habits that last, and this summer I found Green Chef, the #1 meal kit for clean eating. Green Chef's real clean ingredients help you build lasting healthy habits without the hassle. It's hot in the summer. Now you can enjoy crisp, cool salads ready in just 5 minutes. Protein-filled breakfasts or nutrient-rich smoothies to fuel your day. Green Chef is ready to nurture your nutritional needs. Green Chef has 80-plus dietitian-approved weekly meal options. Green Chef also makes it easy to find meals that fit your lifestyle. Pick from Mediterranean, gluten-free, plant-based, and protein-heavy, even gut and brain health, and calorie-smart choices too. Something for everybody. Our daughters love these because they're learning how to cook for themselves, and now they know how to eat smart and healthy. A great habit to manifest early in life. The glazed salmon, rice and broccoli, and shrimp salad were a big hit in our house. I've used Green Chef, and it really is quality. It's clean food. The bonus is the convenience and not having to spend half an hour every night figuring out what to have for dinner. And then, of course, there's the dreaded running to the grocery store with everyone else that planned their dinner last minute. I just go to the fridge and grab a meal kit that speaks to me. Make this summer your healthiest yet with Green Chef. Head to greenchef.com/50deadlife and use code 50deadlife to get 50% off your first month, then 20% off for an additional 2 months with free shipping. That's code 50deadlife at greenchef.com/50deadlife. If we don't make healthy choices now, nothing changes. Choose a healthier lifestyle and be a better you. Well, Tammy, I'm going to tell you my spiritual diagnosis on your situation. Of course, a Pisces is in healthcare. Pisces rules health. That didn't surprise me. I'm sorry that Tammy, that you've gone through what you have. It's called becoming jaded.
Mm.
It's when and I think it's why kids are better at connecting with the dead, because they're not jaded. They still are very open. They're easy receptors. And when we become jaded, we put walls up. It's spiritual protection. It's self-protection. And that's what happened with her. You have no energy to connect with your dead relatives. So that's why you're not having visits. That's why you're not experiencing the spiritual connections the way you did before COVID happened. I think a lot of people are angry with COVID. I think it changed all of us. It made you recognize how short life can be and that we don't have control in our lives, that anything can happen out of the blue, and it happened to all of us at the same time. So I find that very unique in the effects. So with you being in healthcare, basically in the trenches of a pandemic, gee, Tammy, I don't know why you got jaded. I mean, I think everybody listening to this understands exactly why you feel the way you do. You're putting your energy inward, which you really do need to do. You need to protect yourself. You need to monitor what energies, how they affect you, what you're letting in, what you're not. You may become a little less social because you absorb their energy and you don't have time for that or the will for that. And that's all okay. So I think a lot of the healthcare workers, they were sort of giving them the snaps and the clapping and like, we love you. And then they were being treated terribly, half the time as well, and living in fear like the rest of us at the time. And I can't even imagine, especially for Pisces, because they're such sensitive little fish that come into this world that are just very altruistic and hopeful and little rose-colored glasses. This is not all, this is most. So if you're a negative Nelly of a Pisces, I don't need to hear from you. So for the Pisces that came in more Ariel, Little Mermaid, that makes sense. I mean, that's generally what Pisces are like. And we love you. We need you. It's actually your superpower is your sweetness and your empathy. And so I'd say, Tammy, take the time to heal right now in being able to you put up your borders and boundaries at the right times, not all the time. So it takes some getting used to know when you have to protect yourself. Say, for some people, we have the holidays coming up. They know they're going to see a sister-in-law they don't like. Yeah. Put those walls up, little protection, you're going into like a turkey leg battle and it's not going to be pretty, But for Tammy in her day-to-day life, at work, be cordial, be sweet. I actually think when you work in hospitals, although I appreciate empathetic healthcare workers, I understand why you would pull your energy back. You also have the energy of the people who died in there that were affecting you, that attached to you, that don't know they're gone. So you had a lot going on. I would do the down the drain away from me technique that I talk about in the shower, where you visualize the death, the illness, the COVID, the nastiness that was going on for those few years in COVID, and people turning on neighbors and like all kinds of things happening. We saw the best and we saw the worst of humanity all at the same time. It was exhausting and it aged us. So I would say when you do the down the drain away from me, just say, visualize all of the negativity, all of the nastiness going down the drain away from me. Repeat it 3 times. The number 3 is sort of important in this process. And actually, healthcare workers should do this anytime before they climb into bed, because it can affect your partner, your husband, your wife, whoever you're with, and you bring it home with you. And you have to take care of yourself as well and detach and get it off of you, out of your energy, down the drain, away from me. And I'd go to grannymagic.com. For sage spray, if I was a nurse, that I would carry with me because you're constantly surrounded by darker negative energy. And I don't mean that the people that are the patients or their family are dark or negative. I mean the illness itself, the pain itself, the suffering itself. That's what I mean when I say sort of dark energy where it takes from you and it's not good. And you need to be able to detach. Seth Browder, on his website, he also has some very good products, and they're all locally sourced and made with care. So I trust them. So I think that will help her. I know people say visualize a bubble around you, and I'm just not that medium. I mean, you can do that, but back in the day, and there was an episode of Medium like this, I just put the iPod in, the earbuds, and I just listen to my music, and that distracts the part of my brain that would normally connect with the dead or any negative energy that may be manipulated on me by something outside of me. And so I find that very helpful. And then the shower, obviously, very, very helpful and necessary. My students for years would do the down the drain away from me. And I say, visualize whatever's bothering you going down a long tube out into the darkness so far from you, you can no longer see it. And then it's gone. Then you get out. And it really helped change their lives. So I highly recommend it for anyone in healthcare, any police officers, anyone that deals with any level of trauma, even a psychologist. All they do is listen to people's problems. They absorb trauma as well, carrying people's secrets. So you have to look closely at that, especially with Tammy being a Pisces. Her family understands that she's protecting her psychological well-being and her psychic well-being right now in detaching from the dead that are connected to her. So I think you're feeling exactly the way I would expect you to feel. And this can pass. I also noticed that Pisces, you guys need to be baptized. And I don't mean in the church. I mean, go swimming, go in the ocean. You guys need water sources. It calms your nerves. It makes you feel better. Go to an aquarium and connect with the manatees and the penguins and just feel part of it.
Generally for Pisces, that'll work. But she said she's from rural Montana. I don't think they have much. Maybe she
get a fish. Arizona. We have an aquarium. Just saying.
Oh, that's true.
So
they have dolphins in the desert.
See what you have out there in Montana. Whatever. Maybe she should be living in a state by water. I mean, maybe that would be better for her, or at least a lake. They need their water source.
They have beautiful lakes.
Bubble baths go far with them as well. So all good stuff. I hope that helps, Tammy. I hope you're able to get your sparkle back. I know it's hard to look back on who you were before and who you are now, and you just see a stark contrast and a difference, but that's actually part of our evolution. And unfortunately, sometimes it comes with a price. And here it costs you some of your glitter. Did you have anything to add?
Oh no, you really covered it. It sounds like maybe if she started to have some habit of some people might call it a ritual, but when she gets home from work, where she, like you said, just washes it away, separates it out, sets up the boundary. So at home, she can be open. She can be, the way Pisces are, very emotional and giving and connecting at home. And then when she goes back to work, she can, sort of put on a shell a little bit to protect herself.
Another thing that might help her, and this helped me, was first of all, sunglasses. It's why a lot of psychic mediums wear them, because it's one of the ways mentally that we keep everybody outside of us. And
and you look cool.
Thank you. And it works. So another thing that you can do, Tammy, that I find helpful is observe, don't absorb. So when I'm in an airport, for instance, I will look outside of me and observe it with my sight, but I don't probe the energy. I don't go into the energy. I don't absorb those people's energy. I leave it there, just in the physical sight. I don't a lot of people with abilities will automatically start probing people once they lay eyes on them. And you have to teach yourself to not do that because it's one of the ways that we retain peace of mind. So observe, don't absorb, and just keep saying that to yourself. If you're in a position where you feel intruded upon by dark energy or somebody that's really irritating you or affecting you. And I do find that helpful. And always be okay with walking away and saying, I need a minute. Like if you're at work and you have to come back, just say, I need a minute. Walk away, come back. And if it's somebody in your personal life or in a 9-year, people are cleaning house, chop, get those people out of your life that no longer serve you. If you're the one always giving the energy and you have a bunch of energy vampires around you, time for them to go. That's what a 9 year's for. It's time for them to go. Pack their bags and send them on their way. So I'm sure Tammy will be doing a little of that because that's another way that we self-preservation and preserve ourselves mentally and psychically. So self-preservation becomes very important when keeping your peace in your energy. So let's go to the next caller.
All right.
Hi, Allison. This is Pam Hill. I'm out of North Carolina. My mother was murdered by her partner in October. He actually shot her through her carotid artery, through her neck. My husband, she showed up in my husband's dream very vividly, actually while he was undergoing a colonoscopy and he was put under. I'm petrified. I'm so scared that I'm walking around and I'm missing the signs. I really, really, really want to hear from her. My question is, though, my husband, he dreamt that he got shot 3 times in the face. And my mother was shot 1 time through the neck. So I'm just wondering, is there more bloodshed coming, or, you know, I don't know what to make of it, and it has me pretty petrified. Anyway, I don't want to go over my time, so I hope to hear from you. I am going to set up a reading with you in the near future. Thank you.
And now we're going to do a little business with you. So this is, you could feel her trauma, very, very traumatic for Pam, mother being murdered, and that he shot her in the way that he did. One of the things that makes me feel a little bit better is, even though when we don't get justice in the physical world, there is justice after you die. There is a review that happens, and you're forced to feel and experience everything that you put on people that injured them so that you can understand your destruction. Anyways, your husband is not going to die from being shot in the face as he dreamt. There's usually a communication going on from the other side, and I feel like it's at the same time as he's trying to understand how your mom felt. Like he's putting himself in her shoes, and that's just how it's coming through in the dream. It's how he's working out his love for her and trying to understand it, because he's also traumatized. When your husband was put under and he had the experience he did, I find this very common because I had to be given anesthesia before, and you came back, Joe, and I was telling the nurse all about like her dad or something that was standing there, and she didn't think anything of it because I was on anesthesia, which was kind of nice. I didn't have to explain it, right? But for Pam, you know, your husband, if he dreams and your mom is there, he's going to be easier for her to access than you are, because you're her daughter, and the people closest to those who die traumatically, especially, are the last ones to have communication. So they'll try and go through cousins, your husband, because she knows he cares about her and that he'd relay the message to you. So she's probably trying really hard to get messages through to him. You're not going to lose your husband. I know you're traumatized and the healing's going to be long. I can tell you one thing that helped me when my dad died is when the other side said, you were given the gift of 2 years to say goodbye to your dad, which I was, because I predicted it, because they told me he was going to die. And anyways, I got to try and prevent it and couldn't. So you couldn't have prevented your mother's murder either, even if you'd known ahead of time. I like to point that out to people who lose someone because they carry so much guilt, feeling like they should have been able to intervene or do something. So I wanted to just assuage you of that and say that would not have helped her, would not have saved her. Your mother did what she wanted, and that involved matters of the heart. And sometimes we have a bad picker and it results in destruction such as this. I will also say it's your state of mind that's going to determine when your mother will be able to come through to you. And a way that really, really helps me is when you go to sleep, you put a picture of your mother young, and you'll be attracted to a picture of her at a certain age. Put it on your nightstand and think of only the happy times. If you think of any of the sadness, any of the conversations where hair stood up on the back of your neck and you knew something bad was going to happen, or her funeral, anything along that will block her from being able to come through. So they're definitely there talking to you and trying to show you things. It's just a wall goes up emotionally where you can't see or hear them, but your mom's definitely around you. So I just wanted to say that when you go to bed, say, after all the happy thoughts that you have a nice little string of them and you've got a smile on your face thinking of how good those times were with your mom. Just say, Mom, I'm ready for a visit, and go to sleep. And the more that you do that, the more you lower the wall so that your mother can come through, at least while you're in sleep, and you can't be distracted and you can't be your own worst enemy and block somebody from coming through that you don't mean to block from coming through. Another perspective with my dad, since we both lost parents, yours in more of a traumatic way, the voice also said, your dad he's not your past. He's not your present, or I'm sorry. You didn't leave your dad in the past. He's your present and future. You're moving towards him. You didn't leave him behind. And the shift in perspective really helped me to recognize that every day I got out of bed was a good day, because it was a day closer to seeing him again. I was moving towards him. He was not my past. He was my present and future. So that shift in perspective of remembering that every day is a good day because you're moving towards her, you're going to see her again, I think will help you to get out of bed. But you need some grief counseling with other people in a grief group who have been through that kind of trauma. That is a special kind of trauma to go through. And even other people who have lost relatives and loved ones can't relate to it. So I really do feel for you, Pam. We're all sending you all kinds of hugs and love and letting you know your mom loves you and she's going to be there for you every day of your life. She sees you every day. Keep talking to her. Keep some of the things light. When you talk to your mother about, Mom, I wish you were here shopping for Christmas with me because you love the after Christmas sales, or Mom, I'm going to try and make your roast chicken, but I know it won't be as good as yours. And those are the conversations, the things that you're saying, and it's not something dark or dragging you back to when they die. And it's actually around a happy thought. They become more present and it's easier for them to talk to you. When you say, oh God, Mom, why did you have to leave me? And you start saying things out of desperation, they pull their energy back, because they know their presence destroys you. So they need you to be in a high enough frequency that they can connect. Did you have something to add on that?
I think you covered it.
Boy, you're getting off scot-free on this episode.
I am here for emotional support. I am your rock. I am your, I think the important point there is that, what you went through when you're saying that, if their presence, she will naturally then miss her mother. which is painful. And her mother doesn't want her to be in pain. So then she kind of backs up a little bit. And to get through that, it sometimes takes some real grief counseling or some real introspection, but it's a lot of work. Grief is work. And getting through that to the point that when you feel your mother, you feel good about it. You're like, yes, this is, I'm through that grief part, and now I'm at the point where I want to see her. That's when it unlocks. But that's hard. I mean, it's hard work.
There are some tricks I've found, because when my dad died, I watched The Rescuers, that little cartoon with the mice and the alligator or crocodile, whatever, from late 70s. My dad always took me to a movie. So I started watching things that I used to watch with him, and I'd pop popcorn and listen to his songs and stuff. And as long as I was in a good place, like watching it with our kids, and there was a higher energy, I'd get a sign that he was there. But if I went down a dark rabbit hole of I'm going to have a cocktail and listen to like Karen Carpenter songs and just get pulled into that sadness, they're not happy with us when we do that. They understand it, but they're like, rise above it. Rise above it. And so you almost have to trick yourself into doing some of those things. Going to the Arizona State Fair, my dad always took me when I was little, so I did that. And remember, I greased the hand of the barker there that was given the prizes, so Aurora could get what she wanted. I'm like, what's it gonna take? I just channeled my dad. And the more I would do that, the stronger he would come through, and the better I felt.
Sure.
And so I don't know if that'll help some of you out there, but you cannot talk to them in desperation or wallowing. They cannot respond to that. They can't engage you at that low of a frequency. I hope that helps some of you out there.
And that's where the rule that you do readings every week. And one of the rules is that you have to wait at least 6 months, often more. And it's something that people really have to get through, but we do talk to them. It's because you have to get through that initial grief before you can have
for the living, because they're too raw and they're not going to hear anything I'm saying. So I'm doing it to make sure they get the best reading possible.
Absolutely.
The dead can come through right away, but you can't really receive the messages. Yeah. They are talking to a brick wall. You can't feel, you're numb. You're just in shock. And so, it's for a reason. But I do hope that happened, that every day you wake up is a day closer to seeing her again. That helped me a lot with my dad, and I hope that helps you, Pam. But you can tell your husband that he's fine, but tell him to get his heart checked. It's just a feeling I have. He's not dying. I just want to make sure his cholesterol's good and he doesn't have a clogged artery or something. So, okay, next.
Hi, Allison. Hi, Joe. Hi, Sophia. My name is Angelica, calling from Los Angeles. You actually had me on your May 27th episode, spoke about my grandfather and my 2-year-old nephew. My nephew did pass away. In the end, my question was, how did I not know? Having this gift, this ability of being able to speak to my loved ones and see them in my mind's eye, how did I not put it together and know? I found it very interesting when you said maybe in the future I can be a death doula. I have thought of this and considered this. So I just thought it was so funny that you said that. People look at me when I say, I'd consider being a death doula. They look at me like, are you crazy? But my question to you now is, do you have any advice at all as how I would go about doing that, starting that? What would be my first step in that direction? Thank you so much for taking the time to hear me out. I appreciate you all so much. Have a beautiful, blessed day. Bye.
So this makes me really happy that she feels like that's her calling. A lot of women are, and men can too, but mostly women, because we're nurturers, are waking up to their calling as a death doula. And I love that. I think it's fantastic. So as many low frequencies as we have bouncing around the planet right now, we've got a lot of people trying to raise their frequency, and I love it. So, yes, I have an answer for that, Angelica. Go to AllisonDuBois.com, look under resources, and you will find the woman who runs the Death and Dying Institute.
Conscious Dying. Right.
Go ahead.
Lynn Prince. Is it
Principe?
Yeah.
Lynn Principe. And I know that from talking to her, most of the death doulas, I believe, are in Florida. Like there's a big concentration of them there. Send some to Arizona.
Yeah. It's got to be growing.
Yeah.
I mean, state by state.
Yeah. You don't have to die alone. You don't have to die helpless. You don't have to die with a relative yelling at you. Death doulas stand in between you and anything that threatens your peace. And I find them to be the angels on earth, much like the hospice nurses and workers.
Well, and like anything else that you go through, that you only go through dying once. So nobody really is prepared for that or knows what to expect. But when you have some help with somebody who's compassionate, it's not just the doctor saying, well, if you do this operation, or a financial advisor says, well, you do this trust. This is somebody looking out for your spiritual well-being. And as a whole family, oftentimes.
On all levels, in every way. I think a lot of them do fill out those little workbooks with you when you're writing, how do you want your funeral to look? What flowers do you want? What music do you want? Do you not want a funeral? Do you not want to see cousin Jimmy because you're on your deathbed and he's trying to get you to give him grandpa's gold coins? Like,
right.
Death doulas will make sure Jimmy doesn't come in the house, so there's just a lot of peace of mind with them watching the movies you want to watch with you and going through your photographs and making sure that you've got somebody taking care of you when you're at your weakest and unable to. And they should have always had death doulas because no dying person should have to feel like they need to fight any sort of battle when they're trying to let go. So I have a lot of respect for death doulas.
Of course.
Yes. So Angelica, I can't wait to hear that you've gone to the next step and that you're taking your course to get certified as a death doula. And that's fantastic. So Joe, thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Well, I mean, we're kind of a set. We're like salt and pepper shakers, where you go, I go, vice versa. It's just the way we are. So until next time. And then thank you to all of you for being here. Thank you to my listeners. Tune in next Tuesday for a fresh episode of The Dead Life. I'm Allison DuBois. This is The Dead Life. And to all of my believers out there, don't stop believing.
Join us next week on The Dead Life. And don't forget to subscribe now to get notified of every new episode.